It's Friday, Rams House, and you know what that means. That means it is Mock Draft Friday. For the second week in a row, we will be undertaking the task of mocking every single pick for the Rams in the 2026 NFL Draft today. We're going to go through all 7 rounds. We're going to make a trade, a big move to move up the board at some point, so stay tuned for that as well. But if you want more mock drafts, like I said, we do these every Friday. If you guys even want more than one mock per week as we get closer to the draft, we could absolutely go to that as well. I don't mind doing that. Gage doesn't mind doing that. We love doing mock drafts for you guys. Just let us know in the comments and let us know by hitting that subscribe button. Nothing sends a bigger message to this channel or supports this channel in a bigger way. It shows the bosses that the Rams house is growing and that they're very active by hitting that subscribe button. You guys are almost at the 7,000 subscribers, almost 7,000 members of our Ramily here on the channel, which is freaking unbelievable considering we just got underway in early January. Shout out to you guys for that one. And let's get right into this mock draft with the first 8 picks. As always, it is Fernando Mendoza off the board at number 1. Ruben Bain goes second. We saw him slide all the way to 12 in the ESPN mock draft we were reviewing yesterday. Wide range of outcomes in this first round. Caleb Downs goes third. Somebody that, hey, if he gets there to the Rams, that's going to be an interesting conversation right there, but not really likely to me. Akeem Mesidor goes fourth. You might be noticing different trends with this mock draft. It's because we switched the board on PFF to Trevor Sikkema's mock draft, although it's kind of lame that they're still using Sikkema's board, even though he doesn't work there anymore. Come on, PFF. But Arvell Reese, he goes next to the New York Giants. Makai Lemon follows him to the Cleveland Browns, followed by Mansour Delane to the Washington Commanders, Sonny Styles to the New Orleans Saints, and that brings us to the 4 picks ahead of us, where we're going to see David Bailey come off the board, Jeremiah Love comes off the board, as does Dylan Thieneman, and finally Spencer Fano. So a number of receivers already off the board, but a couple of very interesting options for us. Jordyn Tyson's still there, Carnell Tate still there, and that second name, that's the one that stuck in the mind for me. We're going Carnell Tate at 13th overall. I think this is the first time we've been able to take the Ohio State receiver in a mock draft. Trevor Sikkema's board, just having him a little bit lower, causes him to slide right into our laps. And guys, major win here. Because this is your Davante Adams heir. This is your true outside receiver for a very long time in this offense, guys. I really feel like the role that he can play across from Davante early on, and then across from maybe a different receiver with Puka remaining in the slot, is going to be exactly what this Rams team is looking for over the next couple of years. In this coming season, imagine this 3. Imagine this 3, guys. Davante, Puka, and Carnell Tate all on the field at the same time. Who's stopping you? I genuinely challenge you to name a defense. Maybe the Houston Texans have a chance. Maybe Seattle has a chance. But nobody else in the NFL even has a chance, a prayer of keeping up with you. And even Houston and Seattle, I think, are going to lose. Because, hey, we beat the Texans in week 1. Close game. Hey, we beat Seattle last year. Obviously, went down in week 16. Obviously, went down in the NFC Championship. But we were right there in both of those games. And we, with this upgrade, would not be able to be stopped by Seattle. And then you get another addition in round 2 as we continue to move through this mock draft. One that I think solidifies your defense in a major way. Kyle Lewis, the Pittsburgh linebacker. And if you were wondering the other day, when we talked about day 2 targets for the Rams, round 2 targets for the Rams, a lot of linebackers that we went through in that video. If you were wondering, hey, Jackson, you didn't really say which one was your favorite. Here's your answer. It's Kyle Lewis. Absolutely it is. And if you follow me on Twitter, you knew that as well, because I've been tweeting a little bit about Lewis. And I actually already tweeted out this entire mock draft earlier this week. So, hey, if you're following me, you've already seen it. But stick around, because you still want the explanations for every pick. But if you're not following me, hey, previews of videos available on Twitter. But if you're not familiar with Kyle Lewis's game, because you didn't check out that other video on round 2 targets for the Rams, which mostly focused on linebackers, he is the coverage linebacker that this defense has been missing for a long time. He is the best coverage linebacker in this entire class. And again, like we've talked about, there are really solid linebackers available in this draft class. You have Jake Golday. He might be available in this range. You got Josiah Trotter. That's a damn good player. He might be available in this range. Hell, you could even talk about trading up for Jacob Rodriguez, who also has a nice coverage skill set. But what the Rams need is a true coverage linebacker. And the best value pick for that, and truly the best coverage linebacker in this entire draft class, is Kyle Lewis. I think the only question with his skill set, with Kyle Lewis in general, is he really a linebacker at the NFL level? You know, you look at our linebacker depth chart, and you're looking at guys that are big bodies, right? Nate Landman, big body. Omar Spades, big body. Playing inside linebacker for us. Kyle Lewis is 6'1", 220. He's almost built more like an NFL safety or like an NFL nickel corner. I think he's got the tackling ability to play linebacker, but is he a 3-down linebacker at the NFL level? Probably not at this size. It's at the very least going to require him to bulk up, to build that mass, to gain some weight, to be able to sustain the rigors of being a 3-down linebacker at the NFL level, which is going to ask you to come down and run support. And look, he can do that. He loves to hit people, and he's very good at diagnosing the run, very good at finding the hole. But I just question, is that frame going to hold up at the NFL level? Probably not, without some really good strength coach work, which, hey, we've got that team, and some really good nutrition work, which, hey, we've got that team too. You bring Kyle Lewis into LA, we'll get him on a nice diet plan, we'll build up that weight a little bit, and we'll have him play an interior linebacker in no time. But let's move on to the third round, where we're going to get a depth upgrade for our offensive tackle group. And this is something that I know there are some of you sitting there waiting like, hey, are we going to take an offensive lineman in this draft? I'm getting a little antsy about that room right now. And my friend, relax. I've got you covered with a great project pick in Markel Bell. 6'9", 340 pounds. He is a massive, massive human being who did not allow a sack last year for the Miami Hurricanes. And if you think about that, think about the teams that he played en route to doing that for Miami. All of the tough opponents that Miami played last year en route to the national championship, including Indiana, all of those defenses, none of them able to get a sack on Markel Bell. And again, I'm a huge believer in Warren McClendon. I've made this very clear. We've talked about Warren over and over and over again. But like I said when we first introduced this pick, it's about the depth of this room. It's about having somebody other than David Quessenberry to step up if injuries were to come about. The Rams have not re-signed DJ Humphries. I know he's on that list, but he's also tagged with that UDFA marker for a reason. AJ Arcuri, do we trust him to step up? He hasn't done a very good job when he's been asked to do that in the past. You need a depth piece that you can trust and that could potentially have starting upside for you long term, and that's Markel Bell to a T. Markel Bell's got all the physical tools, the arm length, the height, the size at 340 pounds. Everything you want from a prototypical offensive tackle at the NFL level, just needs some work on the technical end of things. And hey, we've got the coaching staff to develop that. Warren McClendon needed that kind of cleanup work when he was in the draft. And look what he is today. Lowest pressure rate allowed in the regular season among all right tackles last year. We can make a magic out of Markel Bell. I absolutely have confidence in our coaching staff to do that. And again, let's move on here. Because The last round, or the last pick that we're going to make here, is heavily influenced by a tweet that was made earlier today from one Cameron DeSilva. Les Snead says the Rams intentionally gave up day 3 picks in this year's draft for Trent McDuffie because they believe the class is a little thin later. And when I saw this, I tweeted, I think that makes us candidates to trade up. And I kind of knew that that was the case already, but I implemented that into today's mock draft. So we found a good spot to move up with the Dallas Cowboys. And in doing so, we moved off of 3 of our day 3 draft picks, saying goodbye to a 6th and 2 7ths to move up and grab a 5th, the 177th overall pick. And for these final 2 picks, we're going to run through them together real quick. We've got, in the 5th round, at 177th overall, Pat Coogan, center out of Indiana. This was a pick actually from Matt Miller's mock that I stole. And I know I'm on the record calling that the worst mock ever, but I actually do kind of like this one pick enough to steal it. Pat Coogan is a pretty damn good center who offers solid depth for this room. He's very experienced. He's been solid in the highest moments. He was an MVP for this team in the Sugar Bowl. Really, really good center. Nice piece to have behind Coleman Shelton if injuries come up and maybe as a long-term starter for us. Then Taylon Green in the 7th round, 251st overall. Our final selection, the 7th rounder we did not move off in that trade up. And I think this potentially could be an enormous, enormous steal. If Taylon Green can develop, even if it isn't as a quarterback, even if it's as a receiver or as a tight end, there is a wide range of skill sets or uses for a guy with his skill set. For just a physical prototype you do not see very often in Taylon Green. And if you're not familiar with it, go check out the combine scores from him. Go check out the RAS. Unbelievable athlete. But let's run through my mock. 5 picks after the trade. We got Carnell Tate at 13, Kyle Lewis at 61, Markel Bell at 94, Pat Coogan at 177, and Taylon Green at 252. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? I want you to grade my 7-round mock draft in the comments. You get to be the teacher today. Give me an A if you love this draft. If you think this was a home run draft for the Los Angeles Rams, if Les Snead went out there and did this, it would be magic, music to your ears. You'd be celebrating. Give me an F if you think this is a disaster draft. If you think there is no way the Rams would do this, if you think it is just absolutely ridiculous, let me know in the comments. I always want to hear from you guys, and I'm always responding. So get in there, and I will see you guys next time, because that's going to do it for us today on the Rams Report by Chad Sports. As always, let's go Rams, and have a great weekend.